Welcome to On the Line. Today is Friday, May 13th. We got a great show for you guys. We got Eryk Anders on the program, talk about his upcoming fight against Sung Young Park, and we talk about how he chainsawed his foot. We also got Brian Boom Kelleher back on the program, going to help us out with some UFC previews going forward, but that's fun. Had a great time going over that. But first and foremost, listen on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, listen on Apple, Spotify, Deezer, Stitcher, or any podcasting platform. Hit that follow, leave a review, whatever you want. But anyway, without further ado, here is our boy, Eryk Anders. We are joined by a very special guest. He's one of the funniest dudes on all of MMA, like social media. Must follow. We are joined by pronounced chef and actor, Eryk Anders. My man, what's up? Bro? Going great, going great. Glad to see you. So I know last night you went to UFC 274. How was it?
Man, it was great. It was great. I think the fights top to bottom were awesome. And, you know, the Chandler-Ferguson fight and the main event was worth the price of admission alone.
I was gonna say that was those two. It was like a roller coaster. First fight, Brown Chaos was kind of like that was fun. Then you had Shogun and OSP, which was whatever it was. Then you had Tony, which literally who would have thought that would happen? And yeah, the vacant now strawweight title, and now you got the lightweight championship title. That shit was crazy. It was decent.
Yeah, and even the prelim fights, because I like to watch all the fights, from beginning to end. And I can't remember who they were. Two flyweights, a Brazilian and a kid from San Antonio.
Raw Dog and Royval and Schnell.
No, that fight was good though. This was like the second or third.
Oh, Vergara and Clayton Rodriguez.
Man, it was an awesome fight, dude.
Yeah.
I just like I think the fight card was like the matchups were even. There wasn't any, there were some quick finishes, but as far as like skill level of talent and where these guys were at in their career, I think the level of the matchups were pretty equal. There wasn't just one dude in there who just ran out there and boom, 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 done, except for Oliveira. But even he got dropped 2 or 3 times.
That's what I was about to say. He got dropped. He got dropped a couple times, but then
I think when the fights are matched like that, the matchups are even. They make phenomenal fights. These guys, you might not know their names or have seen them fight before, but because they're so evenly matched, the fights are great.
Dude, they're incredible. That's the one thing. You always got to watch the prelims because the prelims can deliver some like low key really good fights. You can't just watch the main events because main events sometimes are just like the people everyone knows, and sometimes they're a little older and perform like they used to. And those lower cards are usually the guys coming up in their prime. Like the Brown and Chaos fight, that was the fight I was looking forward to most in the prelims, and then it got bumped up. But that was a fun one. That was a fun one.
Well, man, Randy Brown was playing with fire a little bit with his hands down. But man, it got so like long and tall. He's hard to reach. He made it a fight for Chaos. Made it hard to hit him. So. Yeah, it's pretty. I like that fight as well.
He took some heat, but he looked good. Though. So, what? Just out of curiosity, you talking about how great the crowd was. What was louder? Was it the Tony finish, or was it the Esparza Rose boos?
Come on, man. Yeah, right. No, I think the Chandler fight was so unexpected, and no one saw that coming. No one saw that outcome. I bet the fight to go a round and a half, so Michael Chandler fucked my parlay up. Thank you, Mike. But, I think that it was just so unexpected, so sudden, and kind of out of nowhere that everybody, I'm talking about, and, the crowd wasn't like loud during the fight. It was, of course, but not like I was like in the second row and I could hear his foot hit his face, and then by the time Tony hit the floor, like there wasn't anybody sitting down in the arena.
Who would have ever thought you'd see Tony Ferguson just get folded like that? I just never thought I'd ever see that.
Well, especially with an up kick from a much shorter guy. Usually those front kicks, teep kicks, and up kicks come from like the taller, rangier guy trying to make space. So. Clearly, Tony didn't expect it, and neither did we.
No one saw that come. That's wild, but that's the game. That's mixed martial arts. That's why it's so much fun. That is why it's so much fun. I was also kind of surprised that Gaethje was dropped by one of Oliveira's straights. I was kind of shocked he got dropped, which kind of was what finished it.
it's the ones that you don't see coming, and I don't
Yeah.
think that he saw. And I think Oliveira wobbled him, hurt
He
him
wobbled him, yeah.
early in the fight. You know, he hit him one time, and his legs kind of went jello, and then Gaethje threw a punch and fell, and I was like, oh shit, he must have hurt him with that a little bit.
He was kind of thrown a little wild. Like after, I think it was like midway through, he started. There was when he tripped and fell. He was starting to throw a little wild, as if he was kind of sensing like, oh shit, I'm running out of gas or something. I don't know.
Well, either that or he was hurt, and that's just his like defense mechanism, you know.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I'm hurt, so let me bite down and throw harder, you know. And the beginning of that fight is how I thought it would go, dude. I thought Gaethje would start fast and go get him. You know, Oliveira's been dropped at least once in his last, 3 fights. Poirier, Chandler, and him. And I'm sure that Gaethje had all the confidence in the world that he was gonna be the one to put him out and finish him.
He probably thought he was just gonna be able to put him out cold, but I don't think he can even put him out cold. Dude, just like that's like he has like the ultimate trap card. He just gets taken, he gets knocked down. No one wants to enter his guard. And then he can just get back up and just continue to do what he does. And just like you have to literally put him out cold.
And I think that is the thing, I think that when he gets dropped, like this is the thing. I don't know. I think he actually did get dropped, I don't think he was like playing possum just to get Gaethje in his guard. But since Gaethje didn't want to engage with him after dropping him, it gives him some extra time because he didn't stand up till the ref told him to stand up, all there. So that gives him some extra time to like clear the cobwebs. I think with a guy like that, you have to take some risk, Oliveira's like a choker, like he's a Doris Anaconda rear naked guy. So I'm not saying he doesn't pose a threat on his back because it's Charles Oliveira, man. Of course, he poses a threat anywhere, but I think that from his back, out of all the positions in grappling, he's the least dangerous.
That makes sense. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So it was a fun card. Let's move on to what you got going on. You're back in the octagon with your superhuman stem cells. You're fighting what's his face? Park Jun Young. You're fighting, as you like to say, you're making turtle soup. You're gonna be fighting a turtle. This guy fits your style. It's gonna be a fun fight. You don't have to worry about the crazy ass jujitsu like Eunice did. I mean, like, how stoked are you for this kind of matchup going forward?
Man, I get stoked for every fight because every fight presents its own challenges and things that you got to deal with and stuff like that. So I'm excited for the opportunity to go out there and compete and show my growth since my last fight.
And just out of curiosity, how much did the chainsaw injury? How much did that scare you? Like, fuck, dude, I may not be able to fight.
Man, just for a second, because man, when it hit my foot, I think the tip of the chainsaw like hit the ground and it kind of just like the middle of the thing like bounced off my foot, and I didn't even know I did it at first, and I was like, damn, I don't even know if the chain was running when it hit my foot. So I looked down and I saw my shoe was all mangled and my shoelaces were everywhere. So I was like, damn, that shit did hit my foot. I slid my foot out of my shoe, and you could just see white. Obviously it cut through my sock, so I could just see all the white stuff, the white meat or whatever it is in there, and then just lava flow of blood, just. And then I was like, oh fuck, and that did cross my mind. I was like, damn, dude, I just ruined my, the rest of my career. But then I like started wiggling my toes, and I was like, all right, cool. Like if I can wiggle my toes, then I probably didn't do any like significant nerve, tendon, or ligament damage. Because dude, it's not very deep, dude. If you like look at the top of your foot and lift your toes, you can see all the tendons, veins, and stuff, or whatever in the bones right there. So I was like, fuck. And somebody told me there's an artery that runs across the top of your foot as well. So
Did you clip it?
Nah, I didn't even. No, I guess for the situation, for the scenario, it's the best possible situation it could be. So I think I did it it was either Friday or Saturday. I think it was Saturday. Hung out Sunday, and I was already going to Austin to train with Danaher and them. And so I just chilled on Monday, and then Tuesday I was back training with the wrestling shoe on.
So, what you're saying is you couldn't ask for a better way to chainsaw your foot, and that's the way
Yeah,
you did it.
exactly.
And so now you can say for the rest of your life, I had a chainsaw accident. No big
Yeah,
deal.
it wasn't shit. 20 stitches and nothing else. Probably
Yeah,
ran the teeth off the blade.
yeah, no big deal. That just means you beat the chainsaw, right?
That's right. TKO.
Yeah, TKO, another victory for the record. Another victory for the record. Didn't you get trolled by a bunch of like Facebook bots when you posted it?
Shit, I don't know. I don't really pay that shit no attention.
I swear to God,
Cause
you posted something about that where like you were getting like made fun of by a bunch of like bots, and it was just like, dude, what the fuck?
I'm sure, but at the end of the day, how many people do you know that take 20 stitches in the foot and then start back training 2 days later with the, best, jits team in the world? So say what you want, but your boy grown man over here.
Your boy is a grown man. Your boy is a grown man. Taking a chainsaw, taking it out. So, how's the landscaping going? How is the garden in over there in Bama coming along?
Oh, it's doing great. I have my wife and kids send me, like weekly updates. I have them out there watering. I sodded my yard and built the garden, and then I had to leave the next day. So it took me forever to finish. I finally finished it, and then I had to leave. So, it's pretty cool to see. I left when the plants were just seeds. Now I got, green stuff poking up out the ground. So I'll be home here in a few weeks so that I can start singing to it and talking to it and, start getting some vegetables out of that.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I thought that it's kind of good timing for you there in terms of like going to the fight camp and like kind of the hard stuff's all over. It's all ready to go. So,
Yeah.
you can get to reap the benefits and you get back fresh fruits and vegetables. Can't ask for anything better than that. Can't ask for
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. What can you so obviously you got this fight. So that means what you that's like a 7-8 week camp then in
I think
Arizona?
it was 9 with Danaher.
Okay. So it was 9 weeks. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. That's good. So then you got a fight. So you got the fight. So this is coming out, I think Friday or Tuesday. So you got the fight coming up this weekend. Theoretically
Next
speaking,
weekend.
next weekend. But when this comes out, it's going to be
Oh,
theoretically.
okay. Cool.
Yeah. Future speak. And so then theoretically, then I'm assuming you want to fight then late summer, early fall.
I kind of want to take the fall off, just to go like travel around and be with the family and kids. They don't have school, so everybody's free and has free time. So I want to spend it with them. I've been gone. Missed a bunch of football games, soccer games, track meets, basketball games. You know, so I just when I'm home, I want to be home. I want to. When I'm in camp, I'm 100% in camp. And when I'm home, I want to be 100% at home with them and hang out with them, play video games, and do that kind of stuff. So probably take the summer off, and then hopefully get 2 more in the fall and in the early fall, late December.
So kind of what you did last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's good. That's active. I mean, even though it's a little more spread out.
Well,
I mean,
I fought in June last year too, so I didn't even take the summer off.
Well, sort of did. I mean, June. Wasn't it kind of early June, if I remember correctly?
I fought in May. Fought Darren Stewart in May. Got disqualified, and then like a week later, they were like June, and I was like, cool. And then I fight again till September or December. But I was supposed to fight in November.
Then I got pushed back or whatever.
Yeah, I got COVID. Roman tore his bicep.
Yeah. Anyway, 3 fights. It's gonna happen this year. So, and so? I mean, like, you got this matchup. Was there anyone? I'm assuming they came forward with him, and you're like, yeah, I'll take it. There's no questions. Oh, no one else is even in the question. There's like, whenever the UFC gives you someone, you just say yes. No bullshit. You're just like, yeah, sure, whatever, let's do it.
Yeah, pretty much. But I'm not sure what the conversations look like before the fight gets offered to me. Maybe the matchmaker says no on my behalf. I don't know.
Because they just know you're going to say yes. I feel like at this point, like, Anders will say yes to literally whatever we give them.
Really, the only question is the timing. Like, does this day work for you? Kind of thing. That's really the only reason why. I'm not really sure if I've ever said no, but I'm pretty sure that would be the only reason.
Just timing. Yeah. I mean, that
Yeah,
makes sense. That makes sense. So I want to ask a quick football question before I let you go. Over under amount of games Deshaun Watson plays for the Cleveland Browns this year. Over under one.
over.
Over.
What? Yeah, yeah. What's his name? Baker Mayfield. I was already looking other places. They already picked him up. They didn't pick him up for nothing. You know,
No,
pick
I
up.
know. Here, no. This is what I'm trying to say. I think this is just my not conspiracy thing. I think it'd be the most Cleveland Browns thing imaginable if, like, a week before the season, Goodell's like, yeah, he's getting suspended, or another case comes out, and then he gets suspended, and the Browns are stuck without a quarterback again.
Nah, hell no. At this point, 22 allegations, and not a single one of them had enough evidence to go to trial. You know, and that's 23 comes out with some DNA or bruises or whatever. But at this point, if I'm Deshaun Watson, you know, my trust for women is absolutely zero at this point. So, you know, hopefully, you know, he figures it out. I don't know, like and I don't know what happened. I don't know the truth. I just know that in cases like this, there's no evidence. You know, there's probably a reason there's no evidence. So, but I also think that these women should be sued. You know, you can't accuse me and assassinate my character and try to kill my career. And, you know, nothing ever happens to the accuser. Like, that's crazy to me.
No, it happens a lot more. It happens a lot more often than not. I know there's been a lot of guys who've been coming out for like the draft or something, and a girl will say something that happened in college. Either his draft stock plummets or then no one takes a shot at him. There's this guy from like Baylor. Remember like that? There was like it was like a
Oh,
meme. You
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
talking about? Where he was just like a freak of
Hero.
nature, just some fucking
Yeah,
tank. And there was like an allegation against him, and then he never even got a shot to play in the NFL.
yeah. It's crazy.
That shit's crazy. It's crazy. So, with all that said, man, obviously got the fight. How do you expect it to go down? You're not going to say you're going to lose. You're not going to say by decision. I mean, I think you're pretty much going to say I'm going to knock his ass out.
You know, I've really gotten back to my roots. I think he's going to try and wrestle though. I really do. I think, you know, you watch my last fight, Darren Stewart took me down. Moniz took me down. I don't think he has that same like explosion that those guys have. Like the suddenness. Like Moniz dropped and got under me really fucking quick. And it was the last thing I expected from Darren Stewart. So they both kind of caught your boy slipping. But I don't think he has that same like drive and pop, and I don't think he can chain wrestle like that. So, but I do think he is going to try and stay attached. Based off his last fight. I don't know if he's been knocked out before.
I think he's been finished. I was looking through I was doing a quick wiki cap. I saw I think he's been finished before.
I know his last fight he got knocked out, but I don't know if he's been knocked out before. He may have been submitted before or whatever, but yeah.
I'll look it up real quick while you continue. Let's find out.
Right.
Let's do a quick research.
I think that, you know, he probably thinks that I lack on the ground. So we'll see what happens, man. I don't know, but you already know your boy coming for the kill.
Always coming for the kill. I mean, guys, we've said this before. People's champ, one of the people's favorites. He's been choked out by Fluffy Hernandez. He's been choked out. Then he was choked out as Get a Well in the regional scene. So he's been dropped. So he got finished by Gregor Rodriguez, and he's been choked out by two others.
And yeah, so he's probably a hard guy to finish if he hasn't been knocked out before, but you know, he ain't been thumped by this yet. So we'll see.
Hasn't seen your boys' hands yet, you know? Hasn't seen your boys' hands. Nah. He hasn't seen those yet. All right, man. Appreciate your time as always. Appreciate you. Go follow him on social media, as we said before. Always a good time. So for us, good luck next weekend or this weekend, whenever this airs. See ya.
Appreciate it, brother.
All right, good luck to our boy Anders next weekend at UFC Vegas 55. But I want to once again thank the sponsor of the show, Living.Fit. Living.Fit is a health and wellness company to help you achieve all your goals, from building muscle, losing fat, or just to try something new. Not only are there workout programs with help with your nutrition, and build out your home gym. For all my personal trainers out there looking to get certified in kettlebell battle rope movements, they're the place to be. Make sure you go visit that website or download the app living.fit. Now here is Brian Boom Kelleher. We are joined by one of our favorite guests of the show. It is Brian Boom Kelleher. First off, how we doing, man?
Doing good, man. How's everything? Thanks for having me.
Oh, love having you. Love having you. So you seem like you're in better spirits since the last time we spoke. Even though when we talked to you last time, it was it was a low. But we're about to get on some highs. But we'll talk about that whenever you get your next fight. Let's talk about some fights going on this weekend, though. UFC Vegas 54. I think it's 54. Whatever it is at this point. Blachowicz versus Rakic. We were talking about it before. It's a pretty good card. It's actually, in terms of like what we expected originally, we were like, it may not be that great, but looking at it now and after going through it, it's gonna be a pretty fun card, I think.
Yeah, no, there's a decent amount of fights on the card too. I think the main event's really good. It's definitely like a substantial fight in that division. So looking forward to it.
No, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and start with the first fight. Nick Maximo dropping from the co-main event down to opening the prelims. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. He is the Diaz protege going against Andre Petrosky, who is coming off of the Ultimate Fighter. Boom, why don't you go ahead and start us off with your opinions on this fight?
Yeah, I'm actually a big fan of Maximov. I like his style, I like his mentality. He seems like a humble guy too, which is it's interesting. He comes out of the Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz Academy over there, so he's been coming up training with veterans of the sport, legends of the sport. So that he has that in his back pocket, and those guys always come to fight. So I think this is a matchup where they're kind of trying to look and test him a little bit. I think Petrosky, he doesn't have a lot of experience either in the UFC yet. But he does have big power. So, but I just think Maximov, he trains with better guys. He's smart in there. He can mix it up, striking, takedowns, jiu-jitsu. He has multiple ways to finish the fight. Whereas I think Petrosky has to catch him with a big shot, and that's his only real chance. So I'm going to lean towards Maximov.
Yeah, I do too. And I think even though the power probably goes to Petrovsky, I think Maximov is better in general, just everywhere else. I think also, by the way, no bias. He is a friend of the program. We did have him on Tuesday, so no bias here. But no, I do really think he is better everywhere. I think at some point he is going to get the finish. I think there's a chance that he's going to rock him, and either matter of either he finishes him off on the feet, or Petrosky shoots a takedown, gets guillotined again, or maybe he goes and takes it back. One or the other. I do think at some point, though, Maximo is going to get the finish, just by everyone saying he's a lay and pray kind of guy. I don't think he's a lay and pray kind of guy. He's just a smart IQ fighter. And I think he's going to come out with a finish. I think we're going to start off with a bang.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I like Maximov a lot because he's a smart fighter too, and he's not had a lot of UFC fights, but he has more experience than Petrosky, and I think that's going to play a big role in this fight.
I do too. So let's going into next one, pretty highly touted prospect in Taira coming out of Japan against Candelario. One of my favorite things is I always like to fade prospects that I don't like. There's like later on, I'll get to this later. I'll completely contradict myself later, but I love to fade incoming prospects that I don't think are like once in a lifetime. Like I'll just say it, Jake Hadley. I'm all over Jake Hadley. I think he's super special. I do like Tyra, but he's also in the flyweight division. A lot of his finishes are by finish in the first round, and he's fighting a masshole in Candelario, and those guys are tough motherfuckers. So I don't know if he's going to get the finish. And then from what I've seen and what I've heard, he tends to gas a little bit towards the end of the fight. And I think those Boston guys, those East Coast guys, as you can attest to, again, tough guys, pretty good cardio. And I think kind of once we get past the round and a half, I think Candelario is going to kind of take over.
Now, fade means you're with them or
against them. Fading means you're against them in terms of just like a lot of people, like the general public, etc., will be like, "Oh, I'm all over this guy. He's this really high, cool prospect or whatever, and he's done so much cool shit in the regionals or whatever." No offense to Japan, I don't think those regional scenes are as competitive as over here in the States or maybe over there in Europe. So I don't know if you can put a whole lot of value into finishing off a bunch of people in the regional scene over there in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, he's an undefeated guy, so that does say something. But like you said, the competition could be a little bit sketchy. You never know the level of guys that he's fought coming up. And then, you got your East Coast guy and Carlos, and I agree with you. A lot of those Boston guys, like Very tough guys, very hard to finish, and also very good, smart fighters as well. I wonder where Tatsuro trains at. Does he train in Vegas? Do you know, or I'm not sure, but
I don't know either. He probably. I mean, you should. I mean, he probably has since he came over here for the fight. I mean, you have all that free stuff you can take advantage of. So I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't.
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know like a heck of a lot about both of these guys. But I just, just because I don't know too much about either one of them, I'll probably lean towards the undefeated guy, and go with Tatsuro, just because I feel like, 10-0 is a pretty good record. He's a decent experience coming into the UFC. So I'm going to lean towards him.
All right, well, a little contradictory there. A little contradictory between me and you. Well, we got a little. That's our first difference. First difference for this week. Up next, I don't have a whole lot of spots on it, but I do have one. Jandiroba versus Angela Hill. I think it's going to be a split or majority decision. 3 out of the last 5 Angela Hill fights have gone into a split decision. That's all I got for that. I just think it's going to be a split. I think it's going to be kind of a meme fight.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Angela Hill's fights go the distance. She has a lot of really good movement in and out, good kickboxing, good takedown defense. She's a smart fighter too. She knows how to win fights. She's been in there with the best of the best in that division, and she's a gamer. She takes a lot of fights on short notice. I know she's one of the most active female fighters for sure, or at least she was in recent years. So that's got to play a role. She has that experience going into that fight. But Jandiroba, she's showing some finishing abilities and a lot of toughness as well. Really good ground game. I think if she could take Angela Hill down and get on top and land some ground and pound, maybe catch a submission, but I think it's going to be harder to do that than it might seem. I'm going to lean towards Angela Hill and go with the decision.
Yeah, I think I kind of like that too. I think Hill's better on the feet. It's just
Yeah.
I could see something where like one round Hill's just piecing up Jandiroba. The next round Hill's like stuck in some crazy ass like submission things, and it's like a 10-8 or something. The next round she wins again, and you get like a majority or split. I can just see it all. I can just see it now happening again. Yeah, I can't really pick either way, but I do lean towards that too. Angela Hill decision. I like that. So on to the next one, Michael Johnson, Alan Patrick. Do you know what Michael Johnson's record is? Boom.
No, but I know he has a lot of fights and he's got probably a similar record to me. I'm not too sure.
No, it's not similar. He's 19-17.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
isn't that crazy? I didn't think he was that close to being a 500 guy. But then you
No.
like, it's crazy when you look at his again, like the big thing on like Twitter and just in general is like he has this thing where he'll beat these highly touted guys and then he'll lose his people he has zero business losing to.
Yeah, that could be a mental thing, man. You
Yeah.
never know how guys are showing up in these fights, but he's been a guy that, like, I think someone just brought it up to me about his fight with Gaethje, like crazy fight. He actually rocked him in that fight, and like where Poirier he fought. Like he's fought really good guys. He's been in there with Khabib. Didn't fare well, but like he's always got that fast, crisp boxing. He's always dangerous. He could hurt anybody, and good footwork, good boxing. Trains at a good gym too. I don't know if he's still with Henry Hooft or not, but I thought he was over there for a while training with him, and that's like a really good gym with really good coaches. So he's been out for a while, so that's dangerous. But I think they're giving him a winnable fight here, a guy that he can come back and make a statement against, an Alan Patrick. So I'm gonna go with Michael Johnson. I think he'll win a decision, just a little bit more active on the feet, land heavier shots, and come away with the victory.
I'm on there with you too. I also think he's going to be coming out firing away too. I mean, he has lost 4 in a row. I don't want to
Yeah,
say he's fighting for his job, but I think he's fighting for his job in this
yeah.
fight. I mean, if you lose 4 straight, you can't lose 5 in a row unless you're Sam Alvey. So
Yeah, yeah, Sam Alvey, smiling Sam Alvey. I don't know how that guy pulls it off, but I guess he's in the good graces of the company.
he's got some shit on Dana or some shit. I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But he's game to fight anyone. Which at the end of the day, in like the light heavyweight division, you need guys like that because sometimes they can get a little stagnant. So in middleweight too, he fights in much different divisions. I think he fought at heavyweight too, like once too. I
Yeah,
don't know
he
that.
bounces around, and he
Yeah.
is one of those guys that he has exciting fights, and he's also a guy that the UFC could use to kind of gauge, see like where other guys are at, like newer
Yeah.
guys coming up, kind of use him for like, hey, a little stepping stone. I feel like the UFC, like, they manipulate certain fighters for that, even if they're on like big losing streaks, they see value in keeping them.
They see them as like like they can gauge how good prospects are. They can be
Yeah.
like kind of things like that. He's not a gatekeeper per se, but he's well sort of is. If you lose to Sam Alvey, I mean, should you be in the
Yeah, you're
UFC?
probably not going to advance to the
Yeah,
top of the
you're probably
division, you know?
no, you're probably not, especially not at this age, Sam Alvey. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, back to Michael Johnson and Alan Patrick. Yeah, I like Johnson by I like Johnson here. I mean, maybe KO or the KO decision combo. I don't know. You can do those, but I think that price is probably stupid, like minus 190 or some shit. But no, I like Johnson here a lot, like you do. So let's move on to Arujo and Lee. I got nothing.
No, see, the one thing I know is Arujo, she packs power for flyweight, but I think Andrea Lee is more experienced in the division, and she's like a grinder. You know what I mean? She's willing to like take a shot to give three shots back,
Hmm.
and she has multiple ways to win. You know, she could strike. She's good on the feet, but she's also really good on the ground. And you know, her wrestling has improved. She's been able to take other girls down and kind of get better position on the ground and keep them there. You know, gain side control, crucifix type position, and land some ground and pound and really start to break girls. You know, she has good cardio, so I would lean towards Andrea Lee just based off of her recent fights and what she's been able to do against better competition, in my opinion. Arujo's kind of on the come up still, and really only has that power shot to land. I feel to hurt Andrea, and I go with Andrea Lee by decision.
I like that. I'll go ahead. I'll take that. I'll follow you with that one. Again, I didn't have a whole lot of opinion on that one, but I'll take that. I'll go with Lee too. So let's move on to probably the most promising prospect on this card in terms of guys who are making their debut or making their first or second appearance in the UFC. Jake Hadley. He missed weight at the Contender Series, got a finish then in the second round. Dana White was told, "Don't give this guy a contract." He gets given the contract, and here we are with his debut against Alan Asimiamento. As I said earlier, I do love the Fade guys debuting, but I think Hadley is actually that special. I think he's probably the most special guy in flyweight behind Mokaev, but that's not saying a whole lot because Mokaev is a special motherfucker. But going back to Hadley, I think he's going to win. He's going to finish at plus 250. I don't really like taking flyweights to win by finish, but I think Hadley at some point wobbles Nascimento and takes the neck. So I like that at plus 250. I like Hadley to win by finish.
Yeah, I'm with you on Hadley. I think Dana White sees something special in the guy, and he's been around the game for longer than anybody, watching fights and you know, scoping talent. So, you know, especially with this guy missing weight on the show and like still getting praise and still getting the contract. Obviously, they see something special in him. You know, he's undefeated, and I know the UFC loves, you know, trying to carry undefeated guys. Typically, they matched them up with guys that they think they can win, you know, just to keep that mystique going, that O still there in the record. So I'm going to lean towards Hadley as well. I'm not sure how he'll get it done, but I do think he packs a little bit more power and can hurt Nascimento on the feet. But he also has good grappling too. Seems like he's pretty big for the weight class too for flyweight.
Yeah, he is pretty big for the fly. I think also he negates Nascimento's grappling in terms of like
Yeah.
I think he has pretty good defensive grappling and in general. So yeah, we both like Hadley here. Another debuting prospect, Manuel Torres against Frank Camacho. Personally, I like Camacho here, as I said a minute ago, and contradicted what I love to say is I like the fade guys who debut. It's just my basis. Also, I don't know. I just like Camacho everywhere here, and I think Torres is kind of overvalued here based off the first round finish he got in the Contender Series.
Yeah, I mean, Torres is making his debut. Camacho's been in the UFC for a while and a lot of bangers, you know, good fights, really exciting fights back and forth. He has taken his fair share of damage. You know, he has had some bad finish losses and whatnot, but he's got a lot more experience, and I think that comfort is going to play a role. He packs a lot of power too on the feet, and I think eventually he can catch Torres coming in. You know, Torres is going to ride that high from Contender Series, maybe get into a little bit of a war with Camacho, but I just think Camacho's power is going to edge him out.
I could see potentially Torres like having a massive adrenaline dump in the first round too. Maybe he thinks he wobbles Camacho, or maybe he does wobble Camacho, goes in for the kill. Camacho having all that experience kind of whittles the storm, and then after that, it's just a Camacho show, and he just kind of pieces him up for the next two rounds. I can see that potentially
Yeah.
happening, you know.
Yeah, I
But
can see that. I mean, you know, when you're coming off Contender Series off of a finish like that, you're excited for your UFC debut. Got a lot of jitters. You know, you in your head, you're thinking you're gonna run through these guys
yeah,
early on. You know, and a guy in Camacho who has been finished, you know, a bunch of times in his UFC run. it's like it sets you up thinking, you know what, if I touch this guy, he's gonna get wobbled. I'm gonna put him away. But then if they don't go away and that, like you said, that adrenaline dump happens, like that's a nightmare.
It's not what you want. But to be fair, Torres has that Mexican chin. Can't take anything away from that. Those are also that's a special superpower that the Mexican culture gets. So let's move on
Oh
to
yeah.
the next fight. It is a simp queen of MMA, Amanda Ribas versus Caitlin Chukagian. First and foremost, by the way, do you think there's a single women's finish in this fight, or do you think all three go to decision?
All three women's fights.
Yeah, all three women's fights. I think they all go to decision.
Yeah, I would lean towards decision. I mean, that's like the usual, but I'm trying to think like out of all three, which one could get a finish. Maybe the Hill Jandiroba
I
fight.
think Hill Jandiroba. That's the only one I could really see maybe being a finish.
Yeah, I mean they have that grit and they kind of go for it a little bit more recklessly. Chukagian though is very calculated fighter. Her movement is great. Her kickboxing's amazing. She's really well rounded too. I mean, I don't see a scenario where Ribas is going to be able to just take Chukagian down wrestling wise. Maybe somehow the fight ends up on the ground in like a scramble of some sorts, or maybe Caitlin. I could see Caitlin taking Ribas down because she is confident in her jiu-jitsu. I think she's a brown or black belt, and she has really good top control and just a really intelligent fighter. So hard fighter to fight. She's long for the weight class. She really utilizes that well, her reach, and she makes those loud noises that kind of sway the judges. Like every single strike, she's yelling out. So I think that can play a role, and Ribas has those submission skills and she's gritty, but I see Chukagian taking this, like very confident in her winning this by decision.
Yeah, as I say, I'm the same exact way. I think it's gonna be a grinder. I think she's just gonna put her up against the clinch, against the fence, and kind of just beat her up that way. And then eventually, I mean, obviously, you said Reba says like to do she likes to see aggressive grunts, make a case for the judges. But at the end of the day, I don't think that's going to be enough. I think Chicago's just going to it's going to be grind her out for 3 rounds. I don't think it's going to be very pretty. But it gets the job done. That's all you need. So, yeah, same page, Chicago decision. Next one, Smoker Grant. This might be the fight of the night.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Smoke hasn't gone to a decision since 2017. I don't think that streak ends this week. Both guys are just going to throw leather. I think Grant, though, he's the more durable fighter. He's going to kind of weather the storm, and eventually, I think he is going to put Smolka away. I have no idea what that price is, but I do think Grant gets the KO. I like Smolka. I like him a lot. He is dangerous, but I think Grant can kind of weather the storm and then eventually put away Smolka.
Yeah, I'm high on Grant right now, man. That guy's made like a crazy resurgence. He was in the UFC for a long time, back from the Ultimate Fighter. And he didn't start off amazing in his UFC career, but now he looks like another level of confidence, especially in his striking, his ability to take shots. His power's on another level. I mean, you could tell he's hitting harder. He's big for the weight class. And Smolka has he came off a finish, I believe, TKO recently, right? Or
he got knocked out by Vince Morales.
Yeah, who's not like the heaviest hitter, but he is, he's a decent striker. Yeah, I'm really high on Davy Grant right now. I think especially after that Yanez fight, really big high level prospect in Yanez. He put up a great fight against him. I think Davy Grant's going to catch Smolka, probably have him on wobbly legs and get a TKO finish. I'd say maybe middle of the fight.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Grant too. You can make a case he won the fight against Yanez too. That's the other.
Yeah,
thing
you
too.
can make a case for that.
Really
it was a close fight.
It was a split. I remember I had Yanez in a parlay, and I was like, oh shit, I think I lost that. But luckily I won. We won. We pulled through.
Just edged it.
Just edge it, just a tip. All right, so we got Cutabella versus Span. I think this will definitely be the more entertaining light heavyweight fight of the two. If Span somehow survives the first round destruction that is Ian Cutabella, you might have a chance. But at the same time, though, I don't think Span can survive that first round onslaught that Cutabella presents. He's been finished a couple times down here. I believe, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I think Cutabella is going to kind of just storm through Span.
I mean, yeah, first round against that guy is a nightmare. He comes out completely reckless. He's got that mental edge too, where he kind of gets in guys' heads, even at the
they all know it's happening. They know the first round, the first 5 minutes is going to be fucking hell. With this guy.
And I think Span is a little bit of the head case where he starts slow and he kind of questions himself a little bit, it looks like. And then, as the fight goes on, if he's having success, he'll start to get better and better, and maybe, be able to put it on guys. But I don't think Kutalaba is going to give him any space to be able to do that and let him kind of open up and get comfortable in the fight. That's the hard part in this one for him. I think Kutalaba is going to catch him with something early. Most likely he's going to start fast and just get reckless and get in his face. I think if Span's smart, he tries to wrestle a little bit, take him down and kind of tire him out and make him, build that lactic acid so he can't just go crazy. But I don't see that happening. I'm gonna go with Ion Cutelaba, first round TKO.
I might even take within the first 60 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm like heavily debating it just because the dude's a fucking train.
Yeah, I mean
Those
the first round, those prop bets are heavily paid out too. Like if you could, really pinpoint what you think might happen.
Ooh, that's why it's so high priced though, because it's like it's such a small sample. It's just like such a small space you can get it from. But no, he's just gonna run through him, which it'll be fun though. It'll be exciting because if he doesn't run through him, the second and third round will get very, very, very interesting because we've seen what happens in the past when he does it, like against Justin Jacoby, I believe was his last fight. And Jacoby started to piece him up in the second and third round, and he couldn't really do anything at that point because he was so goddamn tired.
Yeah, I mean, well, Cutelaba is a guy that like you almost have to meet fire with fire. Like that's the only way to
Mhm.
get respect from him is to be able to like meet him with that and weather his storm and give back yours at the same time almost. And he'll start to fade if he can't put you away. But I don't know if Span has that level of intensity.
No, I don't think he does either. So, moving on to the next fight. I hate saying this with Rakic versus Jan Blachowicz, the main event of the evening. I think we're gonna have a super boring main event. I think Rakic is just gonna hug him, lay on him, do kind of the bare minimum like he did, not against like kind of like Anthony Smith, kind of do a couple point fighting. I would love to see Jan just kind of send him to the shadow realm. I love Jan Blachowicz, but I don't know if I can see that happening this week. Because I mean, especially too, I mean, Jan's big knockouts have been against guys moving up from 185, and you just I don't know, I can't see it happening, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this particular matchup, the UFC thinks there might be some fireworks on the feet, although both guys do have that takedown and kind of smother, ground and pound style in their back pocket. If they need to go that route. Um, Both of them have a lot of power. It's just will we see a back and forth striking fight? I don't know. Jan is he coming off the title loss? Is this
Yeah,
his
this
first
is
fight
his
back?
first fight since the title loss, and this is the first fight for Rakic since that Anthony Smith fight.
Yeah, this is kind of like, hey, is Jan still championship material, or are we gonna have a new guy come up and kind of steal that spot? I just think with the experience with Jan, who he's fought and how he has looked. I mean, he beat Israel Adesanya, which is amazing. Even though I know smaller guy and stuff like that, but skill wise, like that was really impressive. And I don't think Rakic is anywhere near him on the feet, what he was dealing with in that fight, striking wise. So I think Jan kind of has the edge here in all areas, to be honest, even strength. But I'd like to see the fight take place on the feet for the majority, just to kind of see who could edge who out and maybe see a big knockout, something like that. But I'm gonna lean towards Jan. I think he'll win by decision. I think Rakic can, he can take damage well and he can hang in there through the duration of the fight. But I got Jan.
And I do like over 3.5. It's like minus 130 for the over. I like the over a lot.
Yeah.
I just don't see either guy getting finished. I think even if Rakic does get hit by that Polish power, I think he can weather the storm. That's why I'm not going to pick either or. I'm just going to pick the over. But if I have to pick for the sake of this, I think I'm going to go with the Rakic, but I feel terrible taking it, and I don't have really a whole lot of confidence because I don't know what he's going to be like in the fourth and fifth round. Again,
Yeah.
I also like fading guys in their first main event. If that's another thing I like
Yeah,
to
it's
do.
a big task.
It is
I
a
mean,
huge
main event,
task.
5 rounds, your first time, that's in your head, and then fighting a former champ, all that stuff. But yeah, I'm always scared about taking the overs just because guys with power, I'm like, man, there's just like such little room for error. You're on your
hmm
toes the whole time.
hmm
Like, please, nobody get caught.
The worst was I took the over. It was Phil Knight and Devin Clark. I took the over 2.5, and Devin Clark was just grinding him out, and then with like 240,
Yeah.
clips Knight and puts him to sleep. And I was so
Oh.
fucking mad. I was 10 seconds away. Oh
It's
my
always
god.
like that too. Like you'll take that and like right before it's about to hit, some craziness happens, and you're like, no.
Oh my god, it's pitiful. It's the worst. Or if you pick by decision and then they get a finish like in the final minute, or
Oh yeah, like the ref
oh
steps in, like an early stoppage type deal,
yeah.
and just doesn't let it go. You're like, no,
Imagine if you took
just
Yoel
move.
Romero in that Bellator fight, like when he
Oh
knocked the
my
guy out with like a
god.
second left. I would have been so pissed. But I had him by
Yeah.
knockout, so I was pretty happy. But I was like, that should not have been considered a knockout. Give the guy the extra second. It wasn't over yet.
Yeah, I mean the thing is when guys go to Bellator like that and they're like big name guys, I think Bellator is like, you know what, we want this guy to win. You know what I mean? Because we
You need
want to
him to
kind of
win.
keep him going. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's an older guy too, so they want to give him a favorable matchup. I feel.
No, they do, they do. But I mean, he got the win finally. I think he was like 0-2 before that, and now he's he's,
Yeah.
he's back in the winning column. Love me some Yoel, but all right. So going back through this card, if you had to pick anything to be your favorite, which would be your favorite in terms of your favorite pick? Mine
Like as
personally is Chukagian by decision.
yeah, as far as like betting terms go,
Yeah,
or
betting terms. Like, what's your favorite bet in terms of betting
like
terms?
my
Your,
lock of the night.
we I'm bleeping that out. We don't say the L word here.
Oh, you know, yeah, okay. Why is that used too much?
No, that, and also I think it's cursed. I think if you say the lock word, which I just bleeped out again, I
Oh, it's
think
cursed.
it's like a curse.
It's like the Drake curse. You see
It's,
that
it is
guy's
literally.
bets?
Oh, I was so mad because I took Gaethje, and then I saw them like right
Yeah.
after the whole thing, and then Drake put a like 500,000. Like fuck, I almost cashed out, but I
It
did
just
hedge.
makes
I
me
hedged
so
it. I
sad
hedged it.
seeing how much money he can just play around with, you know?
Oh my god, dude,
Just like,
it's
geez, he's
it's
not even,
so
I bet
fucking
you he's not even
frustrating.
stressed when he loses those bets. He's like, ah, whatever.
He's probably
Next
like,
one.
wait, who am I betting on? Oh, the
Yeah.
American. All right, cool. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
He probably has no idea
So
who Gaethje even is.
no, so yeah, he probably doesn't even watch the fights. He's like, whatever, pick this guy. My favorite fight as far as my favorite pick goes for like betting wise, I honestly I'd look at Davy Grant. I don't know the odds in that fight, but I'd look at Davy Grant inside the distance. I think he has a really high probability to finish Smoka, especially after the last fight Smoka got finished. And you know,
Holy
Grant's on a
shit.
high right now. I feel like he's got a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence, and he's throwing heavy strikes in there. So I'm gonna go with Davy Grant by like a TKO or inside the distance.
Let's play one of my favorite games. Guess that line. Well, what do you think the line is for this fight?
I would guess that Davy Grant is like a minus 200 favor.
Close, minus 300.
Wow, yeah.
And to win inside the distance, I'm not even. If you don't, you're not. I don't think you're gonna take submission, but it's plus 100 to win by knockout. And that's still
I
though
think that's a
in
good
terms. I
yeah.
still think that's good value
Oh, that's
for
great value. Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, he's not like known to be like a consistent TKO artist, but I just think watching him as of late, keeping my eye on him, like and what Smolka has looked like, I just think the power edge is like way on his side.
I wonder what is to take Ian um Kudalaba by
First
like
round.
what is it? I saw a fight prop for it. And in the first 60 seconds is plus 600.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're gonna get good value on that because it's like such a small window.
Yeah.
But that's like the guy goes nuts, like right off the bat. So
That's what he does though. That's all. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of and also and span starts slow. No, I like that. No, I really like
yeah.
Chicago though. By I like her by decision a lot, and then I also like Hadley by nah fuck that, not Hadley. Yeah, I like Chicago in my finish. I mean by decision.
What about like parlay terms? Like if you were gonna take like a couple
Ooh,
of
Maximo and
heavy
Hadley,
favorites.
Maximo and Hadley. Like that is,
Yeah,
I think that's money.
yeah, Maximo Hadley, because what is Chukagian is probably pretty close odds with
It's,
Hebos or
yeah, she's like I don't know. Hebos is like plus 165.
yeah.
No, 155. So Chicago's minus 180. But Hadley and Maximov together is minus 120. I love that.
Okay, yeah, so that's good value for those two. And those are like two pretty confident matchups, you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty damn confident in those. Those are so actually no, I take that back. My favorite is those two as a parlay. Like I don't usually like saying parlays are my favorite, but that's probably my favorite for putting those two together.
Yeah, I'm not like a big parlay guy, but I do
Neither am
like to
I.
look for like two really confident favorites that I like that are maybe like minus 300, minus two something. And then I'm like, all right, let me pair these up and make it like a, decent value.
Like last week I did that. Oh my god, it was Lupe Godinez. She was a fucking animal
She's
last
a
week, by the way.
monster.
She's an animal. I had her to win by like finish too, and she had so many opportunities I thought to finish her, but that was just a masterclass.
Yeah, that was really impressive because that other girl I felt like had like a good amount of power and was like, you know, a good threat, and she just mauled her, man.
Dude, it was vicious. It was so vicious. God damn, who was it? Oh, and Royval. Which that was
Oh
scary
yeah,
for a
he's a
second. That was scary for a
yeah.
second.
Chanel's a scary striker for flyweight, you know, very technical, but Royval's got like crazy submission scrambles. He's just a dog in there.
He's like a Tony. He's like a Tony of the
Yeah,
flyweights, which
yeah.
is rest in peace. Rest in peace, Tony. Tony looks so good too. That was the worst
I
part.
felt so
He
bad,
looks
man.
so good, and then seeing him get put out like that. Oh my god,
It
that
was
hurt.
terrible, and
That
that's
was
like what,
terrible.
4 in a row now, and now it's a brutal finish. And the guys, you know, he looked a little worse in his last couple fights, but and
And
I
then he
was
looked good.
worried.
That first round, he looked
The first
so
round was
fucking
solid. I was
good.
like, oh, this is the Tony that needs to be here. Like he's in a good mental space, you know, and he prepared for this. And then he gets KO'd by a front kick that Chandler never threw in his life, you know.
It's crazy. That's the sport though, dude. That's the crazy thing. That's
It's
the sport of
wild,
the
yeah.
that is the sport. And also I thought the other crazy thing was like was Gaethje getting dropped the way he did with Oliveira. I've never seen Gaethje get dropped like that before he got choked out. That was also
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, he was getting himself off balance a lot. That's
He
the
was
thing.
getting
He throws
reckless.
so much heat that he falls, you know. If he misses you, it's so much momentum, he just goes down into the canvas. Like you can't do that at this level.
No.
Like if you're missing, especially against Oliveira, if you miss and slip, like the guy's on you, you know.
No, he's on you.
So
Oh my god, yeah. It's
but his power has improved immensely over the years, and if he hits you, he hurts guys lately.
it's also his evolution's been one of the coolest things in the entire game. Like, it's
Yeah,
so cool. It's
amazing.
so cool. It's crazy. I would say, dude, like in terms of like the GOAT argument that everyone's starting to come out there and saying maybe he's the lightweight GOAT. I'd say he's probably the most entertaining lightweight title
Oh
holder
yeah,
we've
for
had
sure.
by a
Every one of
mile.
his fights, he's like hurt, but then he like comes back, then he hurts the other guy, then he gets his back. Like it's crazy.
He's a crazy motherfucker. I love him though. I love him. He's so much fun to fight. He's now. I feel like you at this point, they just gotta start marketing the shit out of him. Like his
Oh
fights are
yeah.
literally all so entertaining.
The
Like,
problem is the no English, you know,
oh,
that just kind of
that
takes you back a
did
little.
you see the reel where he's like is like the champion has a name, Charles de Bronx. I am enlightened by God. That was
Yeah.
like, bro, when you're saying I've been enlightened by God, that's when you know shit's like, oh fuck.
Oh yeah. No, and that he kept saying that too. His translator kept saying the champion has his name, and it's Charles
Charles de
Oliveira.
Bronx. Charles
He
Oliveira.
kept saying it. I'm like, what's going on with
Dude,
this? Is he really saying this? You know?
it's so it was kind of I thought it was kind of hard. I thought it was kind of hard the way he
No,
kept saying it.
you could tell he's genuine. Like his
Yeah.
confidence is like unbreakable right now.
God, I was like, I think he beats Islam. By the way, I want to see that just so we can finally see him lose. Then Habib will come out of retirement,
Yeah,
and
that's the one, right?
that's what we need. We need someone to beat Islam, and that'll force unless it's Benny. But
Yeah,
it
Dariush.
has to be for the title. If whoever the title holder is, which will be Oliveira, beats Islam, I think Habib will come out. But we'll see.
It'd be one of the biggest fights. I mean, it'd be forced. Like he'd have to come back. You know, it's
The
like,
money
please.
would be on. It would be so much money. I don't know if it'd be McGregor money, but they could probably market it to be close, like in terms of being the biggest fight without Conor McGregor.
Oh yeah, and Khabib's a legacy guy too. So for
Exactly.
legacy, like that's like, hey, look, this guy is you need to get this guy out of here to prove you were the best. You know?
This is the Tony Ferguson fight that never happened.
Yeah,
But you could
exactly.
say probably. I mean, shit. I mean, Oliveira's probably better than what Prime Tony was.
At this point, I find him to be more of a threat.
Yeah, I think he's a lot more of a threat because he's better on the feet than Tony.
Yeah,
And
Tony's like dangerous, but the submission abilities for Charles, like that's what's so intriguing. Is like, what happens if Khabib takes him down? Like, can this guy submit Khabib? Like,
could
that's
he
crazy.
could when Khabib's going for that ground and pound, could he just all of a sudden sneak in a little armbar? Like you just
Yeah,
it's just there's just so much that could happen. Like let's say for instance, like when he got in the guillotine with Poirier, that was
yeah.
Oliveira.
Oh
Does he get
yeah,
out of
that's
that?
different level. Yeah.
Does he get out of that? It's so many questions. I'd love to see it though. I think maybe we're on the path for that. I don't know. We'll see. But it sounds like Oliveira wants him to fight Benny, and he wants to take a little bit of a break because he has been an active champion. Which again, shout out to Charles for being an active champion too.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you don't see that too often. It's definitely nice to see a champion stay active and keep
especially in
going.
that division.
Yeah, yeah, it's
We had
night
a
and
guy
day
who fought
division.
once. It's also crazy. He has the same amount of defenses as Habib at this point, and he's only been champion for a year.
Oh my God, is that true? That's crazy.
The same amount of
Same amount of
defenses.
defenses? That's nuts. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's because Habib only fought once a year.
Yeah, he takes his time off, then he has the Ramadan, and then cuts a
Yeah,
lot of weight.
yeah. Oh, it's the weight cuts guy. That's probably why. It's because of the weight cuts. But all right, that is our UFC 254, not 254, 54 preview. Blachowicz, Rakic. Boom. Come back next week we're gonna keep doing this. We keep doing this.
Let's do it, man.
Let's
Yeah,
do
let's
it.
keep it
Let's do it.
going.
All right, so that's our preview. Super stoked to be doing this with Boom going forward. Super stoked. We wanted to do it last week, we just couldn't do it. Chaz is just too goddamn busy with the roofing business. Which again, it's hard when storms come up all the time. He's always building a roof. So Boom's happily stepping in. We're super stoked to have him. But let's wrap up the show with some medals.
Yes,
I'll go
sir.
ahead and go first. So a little water. NBA playoffs, it's been very fucking physical. Pretty much every series has been pretty goddamn physical, except I would say maybe the Sixers Heat probably been the least physical, even though like the Heat are supposedly like the physical team or whatever. But anyway, I digress. Marquise Chris, Bismack Biyombo, game's like a 30-pointer. Biyombo gets a dunk with like 5 seconds left, which was bullshit in itself. It's like an unwritten rule. And Marquise Chris gets in his face. Refs just toss him out right away. And then instead of going back to each other's locker rooms, Marquise Chris chases after Bismack Biyombo and tries to throw hands at the tunnels. So shout out for Marquise Chris for being about that life, not just being all talk like some people like Jimmy Butler. So shout out Marquise Chris for really being about that life and chasing down Bismack Biyombo, because that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I was kind of hoping they'd actually throw hands. We were kind of close, but security caught on pretty goddamn fast. Harrison.
Hey.
What?
It's the playoffs. Anything's bound to happen in these playoffs. And imagine if they had thrown hands. That would have just solidified that this round is a legendary round of NBA basketball.
Well, it just solidified Marquise Chris being about that life.
Oh, for sure.
That's what we want.
But my bronze medal this week goes to underdogs, because everyone in America basically watches the Kentucky Derby and or bets on it this every year. But this year, an 80-1 odd horse, Rich Strike, won the Kentucky Derby. So anything is possible. Go out, make that stupid low odds bet. Try to win something. It's anything is possible this week.
I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't watch a single second of the Kentucky Derby, and I could honestly give less of a fuck about watching horses run in a circle.
Yeah.
That's just me. I know that's against a lot what a lot of people are all about, but I'm never honestly cared. But that's also probably how a lot of people outside of Indianapolis think of the Indy 500. So, yeah, it is what
it's just a day for drinking mint juleps and betting ridiculous amounts of money. So no one really cares about the race.
I was gonna say that sounds like my kind of time, but I don't want to bet on horses. Yeah. I don't want to bet on shit I don't know about. But exactly. Anyway, moving on. Silver medal. My silver medal goes to Jared Cannonier for dealing with Patty Pimblett and Meatball Molly's shit. Let's put it nicely. I know Aljo was there too. I don't think Aljo is that bad. He's actually a pretty sweet dude. Not sweet. That's really weird way of putting it. He's a cool dude. But the main thing I'm trying to say,
UFC fighters,
he's a sweetie pie. Just a little sweetheart. Yeah, no, but Jared Cannonier was sitting in front of Patty Pimblett and Meatball Molly, which I can already imagine must have been annoying as shit hearing just keep saying, "You fucking lizard," or "You scouser," all that other stupid ass shit that Patty says now. Jared's just trying to focus on the fights, and they put him in front of these two just cringe ass fuckers from across the pond. I like a lot of UK fighters. These two are just super. At this point, I think
they're at a different level.
Patty's kind of funny. I'll say he's pretty. I think Meatball Molly is maybe the most cringe, annoying person. Like again, as I said this before, she got the belt out after the knockout was cool as fuck. But she had that belt ready to go if she wanted a decision.
Yeah.
So if she did that on the decision, that would have been the cringiest fucking thing I've seen in the octagon. More cringe than Henry Cejudo, who has embraced the cringe. So that's saying something. So that shout really out. Is. Yeah, so silver medal, Jared Cannonier, for handling that for however long he was at the venue.
Longer than I would have put up for it for, so that's...
Should have threw hands. Harrison, you're silver medal. You're silver medal.
My silver medal goes to Nate Diaz, who is pretty much done with UFC shit, it seems like. Confirmed.
Yes.
He tweeted out a picture of him I don't know if he was actually taking a piss, but he was looking like he was urinating all over the UFC headquarters. And did you happen to see Dustin Poirier's reaction to it?
Yeah, you gotta take a shit like a real man.
Yeah, you got to take a shit like a real man.
Yeah.
And I mean, that would have been incredible. But Nate Diaz stepping up to Dana White. Keep it going.
Exactly. And speaking of stepping up to Boston, gold medal goes to anyone who lives outside of Boston or is not a Boston fucker.
Good.
First off, foremost, we are New England Cartel guys. But when it comes to like team sports in Boston, I can't fucking stand
That's a
anyone
different story.
from Boston. I cannot stand Boston. It's just the way they make it out. Like, what's not going to be talked about. I'm a Jason Tatum denier. I'm a truther for Grayson Allen. I'm a truther for Jameis Winston, but I'm a denier for Jason Tatum. And if you were watching that game, he took some terrible mid-range jumpers when they were up like 8, and that's when the Bucks were taking away the lead. No one will talk about that. I will fucking talk about that because I am a Jason Tatum denier. I can't point it out enough. He takes the worst fucking mid-range shots because he thinks he's Kobe. He's not Kobe. He's not an upper echelon. He's an upper echelon player, but he's not that one tier above. So shout out everyone outside Boston. We don't have to hear about how Boston's the best team in the NBA, how Jason Tatum's a fucking superstar. Jaylen Brown is the alpha of that team, and I don't want to hear anything else.
I agree with that.
It's I can go on for hours about how I think it's Jaylen Brown, and then Jason Tatum will occasionally hit some shots. Jason Tatum's a front runner. That's what that's my take. I think he's legitimately a front runner because he always hits threes when they're up double digits. He hits and he takes the worst goddamn shots when it comes to crunch time. Every time.
You know he's only 18 still, right?
Yeah, I know. I literally was so close to tweeting that. I'm like, did you know he's 18? Oh my!
Never want that joke to die.
Dude, that was so stupid. They're so dumb. I hate Boston. I hate Boston fans. It's just I can't believe small market Boston's being bullied by big market Milwaukee.
I know it should be the other way around. You know, the small market teams should have dominance over these big market middle.
I just can't believe the refs are giving the Bucks 0 free throws in the fourth quarter. The Bucks measly 17. It's just so offensive that the Milwaukee Bucks are getting preferential treatment from the NBA over tiny Boston.
Boston, who has never won a title in their history,
never won a title, never even won a title recently, never even been competitive recently. So the little Boston that could this year.
It's such a shame.
It's such a shame. So actually, no prayers for Boston fans for being so what's the word?
Deprived good sports.
For being I keep thinking I can never think of this fucking word. How am I so fucking stupid?
They're troopers. They're troopers out there.
No, not even discriminated. That's the word I'm thinking of.
Yes,
I can't believe Boston's been discriminated against so hard in this series against big bad Milwaukee. Fucking dipshits thinking that it's so infuriating that they think they're out. It's the other fucking way around. They've done everything they could to give you guys like opportunities.
Yeah. Every year, I swear it's the same shit with Boston, but
can't stand those fuckers. Anyway, Harrison, your gold medal.
My gold medal goes to every island in Hawaii for dealing with the non-binary terror that is Ezra Miller. Have you heard this yet? This dude's just going to Hawaii, getting drunk as hell, and terrorizing the natives. And I mean, good for the people of Hawaii for dealing with that shit, but it's getting bad. He spit in a man's face during a dart game. He's assaulted multiple people. Someone compared him to a non-binary Stitch the way he's terrorizing the islands.
Jesus, what a...
It's just...
And we have a Hawaiian coming back on the show. We'll ask Yancy Medeiros his feelings on Ezra Miller when we have him on this weekend. So
have him extradited back to the mainland states because I don't know how much longer Hawaii can put up with that shit.
Send him back to the 9th Island, Las Vegas. So anyway, that's what we got for the show this week. Next week, obviously we got I just said it, Yancy Medeiros. We got Parker Porter, one of the I don't think he's technically a cartel boy, but he's managed by Tyson, our guy. So he'll be on the show next week too before his fight. So he won't miss weight like Rob. I mean, he's a heavyweight, so not a whole lot of weight to cut. So shout out him, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday. See ya. Bye. Have a good one. Don't get cursed today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around with me all the way to the end. I just want to once again thank the sponsor of the show, Living.fit. If you're looking to better yourself, make sure you go to download the app or visit the website living.fit today.